What do we have at the foundation, please? Nine of Wands, Sag energy at the foundation of the reading. The energy inside the collective at the moment feels like an all-out spiritual war. And though we all cannot really see this in our waking lives, on the etheric plane, it's complete chaos. And as a lot of you know, what we are witnessing in our everyday lives is a form of what seems like some sort of impending doom, like there's something coming towards us. We see this all over the world. So as above, so below. As things happen above, then they slowly start making their way down below into our waking lives. A lot of you are dealing with people that have this narcissistic personality disorder. These people are trying to groom you to hate them so you can react, so they have something to hold over your head. Look what you did. Look at the way you react. It's you. This is a great example of narcissistic personality disorder. Their behavior is so outrageous, but they do it on purpose so they can get you to react because they need a scapegoat. They need someone to point the finger at. And as infuriating and as frustrating as it is to deal with this, all of you are being called to not react, but rather create a boundary, create a layer of protection around you, Nine of Wands at the foundation, and set the stage for what you will and will not engage with. There's a 3-stage process to how narcissists move. First, they get you to react. Then when you react, they use triangulation tactics to ruin your relationships and get other people to turn against you. Essentially middlemaning all the relationships in your life, overstepping boundaries. This is going to be family members for a lot of you, intervening in your friendships, trying to nurture relationships with people by saying that they only care about you and only want the best for you as a means to manipulate these people into being a part of these triangulation tactics. And then once they've succeeded at that, which isn't hard at all, once they get you to react, they then start utilizing gaslighting tactics to make you feel like you're going crazy. The absolute best way is to draw your boundaries, create a distance, and shut these energies out. But at the same time, and though it's going to be different for all of you, in some cases, your boundaries may need to be drawn by way of stating something, letting them know, I will not tolerate this behavior, etc., etc. They want so badly for you to think that everything that has happened to you up until this point in regards to these tactics that have been used against you never happened. Some of these people are really trying to get inside your head as well. I was getting downloads that there's quite a lot of you out there that have family members that are making fake email accounts, trolling you. But as annoying as this also is, there's a lot of truth. There's a lot of exposure happening in these emails, right? So they're doing this in order to get inside your head, make you think you're going crazy, to distract you from speaking some sort of truth in regards to what they may have been doing to you. These people think they are so slick, but the way the astrology is right now, there's no veil. It's like you can see right through it. But amongst all of this, they're telling on themselves. There's no originality here. All these narcissists move the same, and they all essentially work for the same shadow entity. Whether they're aware of this or not, they are all tentacles of the same devilish energy in all of our lives, and they all move the same. Don't allow any of these tactics to get inside your head and mess with your mind. You know what you know, period. Those of you who are on path and been doing the work, your intuition is firing on all cylinders, and you can trust the downloads you are receiving. What do we have at the sacral? The Fool at the sacral. Because we're in a time of great calibration, there's a splitting. There's us and there's them. The thems in our lives are doing everything to make sure that we don't step through this portal and have this new beginning. The Fool at this sacral position. They hate to see you in this very passionate, creative, and optimistic energy. It makes their blood boil. You've been hidden for far too long. And now it's time for all of you to come out of the shadows, come out of the darkness, step into the light, show the world what you have. It's time to start sharing your gifts, your passions, your creativity with the world. You're very much needed. You're all needed. Each and every one of you plays such a crucial part of this shift. And though you're made to feel as though your life is insignificant, it couldn't possibly make a difference, you have to understand that each one of us works in an incremental fashion to make this shift happen. Each one of us works in an incremental fashion to make the shift happen. Beautiful. One of you stepping off path and allowing these narcissists in your life to get the best of you could possibly be the determining factor of whether or not we get a win. This is why it's absolutely imperative that each one of you are doing the work inside your everyday waking lives. There's no more time to waste. We're past the deadline. We've been leading up to this very moment for a lifetime, and now we're here. It's an amazing time to be alive, because in the future we will look back on this time and see it as the crossover point. And though we may not all be together physically, on the spiritual plane, we are all marching in lockstep, side by side, fighting with each other to make this shift happen. These energies want you to give up on yourself. They want you to think that there's nothing out there for you. And I can absolutely promise you that if you've been made to feel that way, it's because everything is out there for you. You are meant to experience an abundant, well-lived life and have something that you can leave behind, whether it be material, financial, or simply your story and wisdom. You are here to create a path for others to follow. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Four of Wands, Aries energy at the solar plexus. I cannot tell you how very close you all are to stepping through this portal. And I always speak about things getting a little bit more difficult right before we have these big changes in our lives. We have the valleys and we have the peaks. Right now we are in a valley because we're about to hit a peak. But you need to prepare yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, all of them. You need to bring yourself into balance and get ready for what's to come. Now, if you're doing the work spiritually and your mental faculties are in a good place, usually the preparations that you need to make, physically speaking, materially speaking, come a lot easier. Now, what I mean by this is when you really nurture this connection with the divine, when you calibrate with your higher self and you get into an energy of being in service to the divine, things are being arranged for you. Things just have a way of magically working out for you. You know, a lot of people, when they pray to God, they're asking for things. God, help me pay my rent. Help me pay my bills. I need this. I need that. I need a new car. I want some new shoes. This is not how you manifest. And this is not how you can get these things to materialize into your waking life. If anything, it pushes you further and further away from those things. The proper way to manifest is to nurture a relationship with God that isn't influenced by the things you want, but rather what you can do. God, how can I be of service to you? Once you start to understand this and you align with this mindset, all of the other things come with ease. They're byproducts. You see, the divine wants you to be provided for. It's no thing to make sure that you have the materials you need, because all they need from you is to step into service. So once you step into service, everything else comes with ease. You will be provided for once you surrender and step into your mission. Rather than ask for things you want, nurture a relationship with God and the divine. Talk to God about things that you would like to improve in your life. Talk to God about how you would like to be of service. Talk to God and ask if there's anything that He needs you to do for Him. This is how you properly manifest, because of the tremendous amount of faith that comes with nurturing a personal relationship with God. Four of Wands at the solar plexus, having confidence in faith, unwavering faith. Too many cards. Don't allow anybody to come onto your path and try and taint, try and poison your connection with the divine. Wow. Try and poison your connection with the divine is exactly right. Five of Pentacles, Taurus energy at the heart. This opposing force, let's just go ahead and say, for the sake of example, people who've essentially sold themselves out, sold their soul, so to speak, are now regretting it because they're starting to see that it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. And they so badly want to drag you down to where they are. They know they're going to be left behind. Here's you, here's them. Light, dark. God, devil. Like I said, even though we're all dealing with this inside our own individual lives, it all goes back to the one main story. Five of Pentacles is one of the worst cards in the tarot. It's an energy of loss and poverty, financial, spiritual, physical, essentially homeless in the snow with a broken leg and a bandage on your head. And I've never noticed this before. And this is why the Rider-Waite Tarot is so amazing, because even though I've pulled from this deck thousands and thousands of times, I always recognize something new. Clearly, we can see here some stained glass. A church and these two individuals outside the church. It's like they're outside of God's reach, but they did this to themselves. They sold themselves out. They must now live out their karma in the life cycle that they sold themselves out to. A lot of these people have entered into spiritual contracts that shut God out from even being able to do anything about it. They've crossed over to the dark side. They've given themselves to the devil. This is exactly what I see here right at this heart position. These individuals are becoming bitter, hateful shells of the humans they once were for the way they've lived their life up until this point and their treatment towards you. What do we have at the throat, please? Perfect. Page of Pentacles. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy at the throat. Page of Pentacles is all about seeking abundance. So it goes back to what I was saying about the proper way to manifest. You nurture the relationship with the divine and God, and then you are provided for. And this Page of Pentacles, right now I'm thinking about the Ace of Pentacles, which is the hand of God reaching down from the heavens, providing you with a pentacle. So it's like the hand of God has come down and placed that pentacle in your hand. As soon as you start to understand what I'm trying to explain to you here in regards to manifestation, things are going to start moving. The sooner you realize that you're right where you need to be, because that's where God needs you, whether it be good or bad. But if you always have an awareness that you're of service and you're on path, then any struggles you may be going through were merely for the sake of gathering wisdom, and they will not last. They too shall pass. What do we have at the third eye? Five of Wands at the third eye. The Sun at the crown. Leo energy with this Five of Wands. Leo energy with the Sun. And this is representing everything that I spoke about at the beginning of the reading. As above, so below. The chaos happening inside the collective. But as long as you're aware that everything is happening as it should be, and as long as you are online with the divine, any struggles that may come across your path will pass quickly. Now when I have any sort of struggles or obstacles come on my path, no matter big or small, I always look at them with this mindset, and they always pass, and every single time I'm left with a beautiful blessing of wisdom, something I can use on my path for having overcome that struggle. So whatever your path may look like, I highly encourage you to start implementing this mindset. It's a life-changing tool that will allow you to see the purpose and the beauty in everything that surrounds us. As soon as you understand that we are surrounded by an ever-evolving universe, Mother Nature, you'll know when to jump and when to duck, and you'll always come out the other end more agile and more experienced for it. This Five of Wands is representing family members for a lot of you. There's so much chaos going on behind the scenes. A lot of these people just can't believe how far you've come. This was not a part of the plan. They are really starting to get the memo now that they are losing the war. A lot of these people won the battle. You had to walk away. You had to do whatever you had to do. But the war will be yours. It will be all of yours. But you first need to recognize that this is what's taking place and have a higher understanding of how these energies are unfolding in your life. A lot of you are going to start manifesting at a very rapid rate. People won't be able to deny it. The divine wants to set up a lot of you as we move into the new year, get you out of harm's way, but you have to give yourself to your mission. You have to be in service. Like I was saying, this is how you receive. And because we're fueled by faith, because what we have to commit ourselves to is spiritual in nature, we can't see it with the naked eye. It's very challenging. You're all being asked to move off of pure faith. A lot of people don't make it because they don't want to commit themselves to something they can't see. But what most people fail to understand is that you will commit yourself to something, whether you like it or not. Because if you don't commit yourself to the light, to God, the divine, you are automatically committing yourself to the darkness. There is no in-between. I've come across many people on my path who thought there was an in-between and are now being grouped in with the opposing energy. They're now starting to seek out a connection with God. But they were nowhere to be found when God needed them, when God was calling on them to step into service. See, these are the cowards as well, right? A lot of these people stood around and watched horrific things happen to all of you, didn't say anything because they didn't want to get involved. But this is a perfect example of guilty by association. This will not be tolerated, and this is very, very looked down upon when it comes to the divine, because they stand for nothing. They stand for themselves. This sun, Leo energy at the crown, is confirming everything I'm saying here for all of you. This is an energy of success. It's an energy of material happiness. So again, confirming everything that I've been saying. It's like the sun is representing the divine, right? And here you are on this white horse, in mission, so to speak. Mother Nature blooming all around you. A soldier of evolution, a soldier of God and the divine. And again, there's no in-between. What do we have at the foundation, please? 10 of Wands, Marbass, Sag energy at the foundation. So we have the 9 and 10 of Wands. And this 10 of Wands is speaking about these two polarities I'm picking up on, right? 5 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands, or 5 of Pentacles, Sun, you and them. It's like you're in this energy here of freedom. You've set these very clear boundaries, and you're not allowing people to cross them anymore. See, a lot of you have spent most of your lifetime not having these clear-cut boundaries, and people have crossed them. And a lot of this began in your childhood. It's very important that the authority in a child's life teaches them how to construct proper boundaries, but then also respects those boundaries, right? Respecting their child's boundaries, whatever that may be. It's just a really healthy way to program a child's mind to respect themselves and to make sure that other people respect them as well as they develop and get older. Because typically speaking, when people can pick up from you that you have a lot of respect for yourself, they immediately respect you. It took me a lot longer than it should have to learn this. I didn't learn this until my adult age. My parents didn't teach me about boundaries at all when I was a child. I had no idea what that meant. I was walked all over, and then as I get older, I would come across more people who would walk all over me. I've dealt with all layers of narcissistic abuse in my life, but the only reason why I attracted those energies is because I didn't have clear-cut boundaries in my own life, because I didn't even understand what they were. So whether you're younger or older, it's very important that right now you are practicing very clear boundaries, but where we're going now, those boundaries need to go one step further into a complete disconnect, because there really is no reasoning with a narcissist. They're childish, they're immature, and they're set in their ways. They may come across like they understand you, but it's merely to get you back in their grasp so they can start the cycle of narcissistic abuse all over again. They themselves are stuck inside a loop. They themselves are the walking, talking embodiment of the abuse that they dealt with at some point in their life, usually their childhood, that they've succumbed to. So they're essentially individuals that went through the exact same thing as you, but they didn't wake up to it, or they weren't meant to break the cycle. You were. For some of you, this is going to be siblings, but typically it's going to be older siblings who hold this same energy as your parents, but worse, right? So say you had narcissistic parents, and then you have an older sibling who is a perfect mirror of these two parents, but almost holds this Frankenstein kind of energy. So it's like both parents in one, just a complete monster. A lot of you have had to deal with this sibling most of your lives. For a lot of you, this is the family member who's also making all the fake email or social media accounts trolling you, stalking you. They're jealous of you because of where you're going. and what you're achieving with your life. They've done absolutely nothing. And for some of you out there, these siblings are criminals. I also got a message before the reading that there was some family members that were going to jail for credit card fraud. That download came out of nowhere, but I knew it was going to be for this reading. So don't give whoever this is any of your energy, because I feel that this person is going to be locked away pretty soon. And I couldn't imagine a worse place to be in this current climate of the world than inside a jail cell. And I'm staring right at that Five of Pentacles at the heart, and I just heard locked out of heaven, right? Solitary confinement. What do we have at the sacral, please? Just confirmed everything I just said. 10 of Cups, fur. So this is read as a 10 of Cups in its negative polarity. So this is all related to issues with your family. And 10 of Cups is also an energy of loss. It's an energy of loneliness. This is that family member that I was speaking about. It's like they're losing everything. For some of you out there, your mortal enemy has been your sibling. This sibling has done multiple things behind the scenes to tamper with your life, and I feel for a lot of you without you even knowing. And I feel that they've used the tactics like I was speaking about earlier on in the reading. Oh, I'm just concerned about the collective, but don't tell them I contacted you. I think that, maybe they need to speak to someone. Maybe they might have something going on with their mental faculties, This sort of behavior. Demonic forms of narcissism and triangulation. And then if you catch wind of this and try and speak to them about it, you're crazy. See, these are the kinds of people as well that will target you, but then say you're paranoid thinking that somebody's targeting you. Deep forms of gaslighting with one purpose in mind, to make you feel like you're going crazy and there's something wrong with you. That's what all of this is about. See, if they can get your mentals, they got you. Whatever you have to do to clear your mind and just get away from the chaos, do it. Breathe, center, pray, meditate, talk to God, nurture a friendship, a relationship. Talk to God like you would one of your friends. Share things, ask questions, ask advice. Ask God how He's doing. How many of you out there have ever asked God how He's doing? Probably zero. We're not taught to think about God in this way. But there's a couple of things that we need to remind ourselves here. When Lucifer rebelled against God, Archangel Michael and the other archangels came to protect God and fight the war. God needed the archangels. Just like God needs all of us to fight this war down here. We are in service. And the sooner we realize that we're behind enemy lines, so to speak, and we start looking at things from a more grounded perspective, right? See, we're taught to think that God can swoop through and just eradicate everything. But we need to understand how evolution actually works. If that was the case, we simply would not exist. Evolution is death and rebirth. It has to happen. The cycle of life has to happen. Otherwise, there would be no life. We are all soldiers in the cycle of life. So we're here to fight for God. Stop waiting on God and get up and start fighting for God. Yes, your spiritual battles will be fought by the archangels and God inside the ethers. But inside our waking lives, inside this density, we have work to do. The spiritual beings take care of everything else on the other densities. But inside this density, it's on our shoulders. Everybody at some point in their life has asked, God, how could you allow this to happen? But what you all need to remember is God gave us free will. If God came down here and solved every single problem on the planet as it was happening or stopped it from happening, then we simply would not have free will and we just wouldn't even exist in the capacity that we do. God gives us free will to govern ourselves. It's up to us to oversee all the problems in our own society. You see, the Luciferian agenda that is on the planet is constantly trying to instill into us that God has forgotten about us, that God could have stopped this or that from happening. And the reason why they're doing this is because they want to play God in all of our lives. And this is an extension of Lucifer. He rebelled against God because he wanted to become God. So what we're seeing now in our society is them trying to take away all our rights, our inalienable rights. But most, if not all, of the problems that take place in our society of this horrific magnitude is actually mechanized by this Luciferian agenda. So again, it's up to us to bring the changes that we want to see into our own lives and also help influence the collective to make the shifts necessary. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Wow. There it is. 10 of Pentacles, Virgo energy, Barbutus. And this is one of my narcissists of the tarot, right? They always act like they're sticking their neck out for you. Oh, yeah, I'll take care of that for you. Just leave it up to me. You know, I'm always sticking my neck out for you. These are people who want you to give your power to them so they can do all the heavy lifting in your life. Essentially an extension of the devil. They do not want you to have this connection with God. They do not want you to step into your mission. They don't want you to know that you're down here to fight this war. They want you to think that you're supposed to just sit there and wait for somebody to come and save you. God did not send us here so he can save us. God sent us here with the perfect example of Jesus to come here and do our part in also helping save the collective. The story of Christ is an example of how we are supposed to be moving inside the collective. You are all extensions of Christ. You have Christ energy running through you. So with that in mind, what do you think you came here to do? Save. However that may show up for you in your own life. Save yourself and then help save others. This is how you serve God, Christ, and the divine. What do we have at the heart? Unbelievable. Visago, the Tower. Ingratitude. Further reiterating what I just said. This is what they don't want you to know. Everything I just said. They want you to become indoctrinated into the system. This is why there's so much pressure inside the collective right now. People don't know what to do. Because what they come through with in the 11th hour is a solution to all our problems. So you give up your inalienable rights and they strip more of your liberties and freedoms away from you in order to indoctrinate you into their system. It's happening on the spiritual and etheric plane, and it's happening in our waking lives. And anybody who has not recognized this has already given themselves away to the indoctrination. The realization that we have of this causes this tower energy inside the collective. This is what causes the shift globally. We start to see the truth. This is how we shift our paradigm. This is what they're trying to stop from happening by any means necessary. It's happening in your own individual lives. It's happening in politics. It's happening all over the world. We're seeing mass genocide that we've been manipulated into paying for with our tax dollars. Think about that. And then we have Setail, Three of Wands, Aries energy, creation of all things. And here you are, walking in faith. You don't even need your eyes to see because you're on path and the divine is guiding you. You are protected. When you're on path, no weapons can form against you. When you are off path and not in your mission, weapons will form against you. Period. End of story. What do we have at the throat, please? Six of Wands, Sahia, Leo energy. God who took evil. Longevity, protects against infirmities. This is an energy of victory. This is your mission statement. This is how we're all supposed to be moving. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. When you start to understand things from this perspective and move inside this space, it's tried and true, and I can confirm this to be absolutely 100% the way that we are supposed to be moving. What do we have at the third eye, please? Lovers, Hanuel, Gemini energy at the third eye. Joy and pleasure brings happiness to couples, removes negative energy. This is speaking metaphorically about where a lot of you are going, okay? It's like your higher self lifting you up into this new timeline, pulling you out of the war that you've been fighting your entire life, aligning you with happiness and success in your life, right? It's like you're being lifted out of this energy here. You're coming online. You're aligning with your mission, your purpose, your destiny. And for most, if not all of you, this is when you align with your soul tribe, your person, your soulmate. It's all on this path. But it doesn't happen when you want it to. Just prepare. It will happen when it's supposed to. But for now, God needs you to take care of some other things first. And you know, a lot of you meet that person when you're in mission. How better to meet your true soulmate than when you're on path? What more of a confirmation can you possibly have that that is truly your person? What do we have at the crown to close this out, please? Six of Swords, Aquarius energy at the crown to close out the reading. Annuel, the gentle God, perception of unity, protects against accidents, heals the sick. This is your rite of passage. This is you moving beyond this old way of living, this old life cycle, being ushered into the new timeline, marching in lockstep with the rest of your brothers and sisters inside the collective that are all fighting alongside of you. And this is further confirming what I just said here about this lovers, you getting on path, your rite of passage, and this energy comes through. However this may be showing up for you. Six of Wands, victory, lovers, alignment. Six of Swords, rite of passage, moving past the current pain into the new timeline. And it's right underneath that sun. This is a whole new life cycle opening up for all of you. They don't want you to see this. They're going to use whatever tactics they can to stop you from stepping through the portal. Don't fall for any of it. You know how to move. Nurture the connection with God. Talk to God. Just talk. And watch miracles start to unfold in your life. This is the energy I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations. Take care.